I'm sorry, I'm in my car, and I know my exhaust is just at that right tone to where it screws with my audio, and it's hard to hear. So I'm going to talk really loud, and I'm sorry. It's the only time I had the time to make videos today, and I want to talk about this. So everybody else made videos about the polymer 80 thing, but what they didn't tell you was that, where did I see it? Anyway, Brownells had said that the ATF didn't ask for records. It was really weird. They said they didn't specifically ask for records, but then they wanted to go through and do background checks on the people that had bought polymer 80s. Maybe I understood it wrong, but for the sake of argument, this is very possible. We've been hearing about for years about the ATF, you know, going to FFLs and taking pictures of their logbooks and shit like that. How hard is it to believe? I mean, the ATF, if it was just to save one life, that would be enough to get a search warrant to be able to retrieve the records from anybody that they wanted to. Palmetto State Armory, Anderson, Daniel Defense, anybody that makes or sells firearm parts. The ATF then does a background check on the names, on all of them. And when somebody pops up on the prohibited persons list that bought a Magpul grip, that's now enough to kick in their door. And don't say it isn't, people, because it freaking is. Search warrants are rubber stamped nowadays. I think I've said it before, but I know somebody that had their door kicked in. They had their door kicked in, went through a 4-year battle, was charged with 10 felonies because in the affidavit for the search warrant, the cops verified where they lived at, what kind of car they drove, and they had an account on a certain platform that anybody could see. Nothing was hidden. There was no expectation of privacy. And like, I've seen it. I've seen the warrant. I've seen the affidavit for the warrant. There's some other stuff in it too, but it wasn't anything that would have to do with the search warrant, really. It was really weird. But the judge just rubber stamped it, and the cops, got all gooned out and went and kicked the door in. That's what they do. They divide us. The real tactic is to make enforcing the Constitution illegal. That was if I was the enemy and I could create the rules for how you got to fight, that's what I would do. I would make laws saying you can't do this, and then I would send my legal thugs to enforce those laws to keep you from fighting fairly. The government knows there's 330 people. The first rule of war is any fight, whether it's war or fist fight or whatever. You try to avoid fighting a fight that you know you can't win, because it's pointless. You're just going to get beat. So what do? They create laws, make it illegal for us to enforce the Constitution. They trick the people into believing that their enforcement agencies are there for the people because they take this oath to the Constitution. If the government could take an oath to the Constitution, there would be no oath needed, or there would be no Constitution needed. They can just take an oath to be a moral human being, individually. We have our Constitution for a very specific reason, because all governments become tyrannical throughout time. So we made rules, laws, restrictions, whatever you want to call it, for our government. We said, in order to have our consent, because we are free people, you must stay within these restrictions that we've given you. We're giving you these 18 specific powers. And here's all of our restrictions. There's what you can do and what you can't do. They took those 18 specific powers and they spun it and created their own laws where they rule the people. And And they do it through force. And they can do it through force, not because they have the force, but because you are afraid of losing your freedom. Because you are afraid of losing your home. Because you are afraid of losing everything you own, so you won't stand up for your neighbor. You won't organize. Because the law says if you organize, you're now a domestic terrorist. If you try to arrest politicians, you're trying to kidnap them. That's what the law says. They've taken it so far as to say conspiracy theorists are domestic terrorists. Really think about that one. Think about all the conspiracies that you've heard throughout your life that came true. Operation Mockingbird, that was a conspiracy theory at one time, that existed. Come to find out, it was all true, 100%. And they're all going to continue to create more laws that restrict us more, that make you fear, that make you fear the government more, that makes you fear for your freedom more. There's a cop sitting back there. I got a phone sitting up right in my face. Surprised he didn't take off after me. Hope we don't. It'll be all bad. But anyway, and it's only going to continue. And when I say this, I'm not calling people stupid. I'm not. Don't think I am. But it boils down to ignorance. Ignorance of the facts. If everybody in this country knew what rights actually were, we wouldn't be in the position we are today. Because they'd be willing to die for those rights. And I understand that you don't want the ATF kicking your door in at 5 a.m. I get it, man. Like, I don't want that to happen. They ain't even got no damn reason to be at my place. But that won't stop it from happening. That they just make an assumption based off a video I make. That's probable cause in 2021. Shit, it was probable cause in 2013 when that warrant I was talking about happened. The people that'll stand up, you ever heard the saying, it will hang together, we'll hang or we'll stand, we got to stand together, we'll hang separately. The people that are getting hung separately are the ones that would stand together. It's by design. That's why they have all these enforcement agencies. There was never meant to be a law enforcement agency in this country. Show me anywhere in any of our founding documents where we said allowed government to create law enforcement agencies. You can't do it because it doesn't exist. The people are supposed to enforce the laws. I think that we've, between, if you think that our system is legit after 10 months almost, 9 months of businesses being shut down at least 50% of the time. I'm trying to hurry up, get sped up so you ain't got to hear all that noise from my, it's not loud in my car. I guess it's just, they dump. I drive a Grand Prix, so like it's the exhaust on it is like naturally rumbles sort of, so probably has something to do with it. But anyway, it's only going to get more restrictive. We see them going after these Polymer 80s. Polymer 80 went by their fucking laws. But they said, hey, this is within the law, we can do this. And the ATF says, oh, no. We didn't mean that. Now, you can sell this separate from all this shit, and it's legal. But if you send it in the same box, it's illegal. Now, let us see those records. And that's what's going to happen in the end, if they haven't already got them. I think we're coming to, I meant to say a minute ago, I think we're coming to the end of this ride, people. From the stock market, and just everything. Our whole system is held up by the petrodollar. You now have China coming out with their currency that is about to be probably going to be the currency of the world because we allowed it to happen. I was speaking with someone the other day about, how we once had it's a hard topic to talk about money and currencies and Lincoln and how all that went down. But Lincoln was a tyrant. Lincoln destroyed this nation for the people. He destroyed the country. I didn't mean to say nation. He destroyed the country forever. He didn't free not one slave. He made everybody slaves to the government. He gave the federal government unlimited power. The federal government was never meant to rule over the states. How in the hell, if the federal government only exists because of the union of the states, how does it have more power than the states? It doesn't. But it thinks it does. Why? Because we comply to it. Because we fear it. And it's not just you. It's me too. I don't want to lose my freedom. I don't want to die. But I will. But I don't want to be for nothing. A lot of people won't admit this. A lot of people won't even say it. But it's the truth, so I'm going to say it. You know why we just fought for almost 2 decades in Afghanistan? And here's the truth. Because how many of those people that were killed, those terrorists, those ISIS members, the boogeyman, were people that were fighting an invading force? And you have to think, in Afghanistan, some of them places way out there, they've never even heard of radio, much less seen a TV. All they know is that there's this military force coming in, kicking in the doors of villages and the homes of villages, treating people like shit, acting like they run things. I would venture to bet the vast majority of so-called ISIS or Taliban members were people fighting for what they thought was their own freedom. If China just decided that they were the big brother of the world, like the United States has, and they wanted to spread some communism, and they came to your town and said, get out, like they did in Ramadi, or you're going to be treated like a terrorist, are you going to listen? If you worked your whole life for your home, if everything you know is right there in your town, if you have nowhere to go, fuck no, you're not going to leave. You're going to pick up a gun and you're going to fight some goddamn Chinese people. And if the Chinese were anything like the United States government, they would say you were a terrorist. Part of this boogeyman group that they created. We created ISIS. We created the Taliban. And don't say we didn't. You have the same ATF agents in Nevada raiding Palmyra. One of the same ATF agents from Nevada are the ones that were involved in Fast and Furious. Why isn't anybody talking about that? They sent 2,000 guns to Mexico. They know of hundreds that have came up on crime season with dead bodies, even at schools and shit. Why is no one held accountable for that? I'll tell you why. Accountability isn't what they're after. They're after the numbers. It's the same reason why a cop shows up when you call the paramedics because somebody's having a heart attack. Because they put a little check on the board. That way next year when they balance the budget, they can say, hey, we had 3,000 runs this year. We need new vehicles. They failed to say that 2,900 of them were for medical emergencies. It had nothing to do with any kind of criminal activity. Yet they show up. Same thing down there. It was about getting bust, which allocates them more money to then control you more. That's what it's about control. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely.